I'd like to welcome you to WCPT AM's Out Chicago. Think of us as Sunday brunch with your gay best friends. Now please welcome your host, Scott Duff.
Out there, Scott Duff here, along with Ellen Miller.
Good morning, Scott Duff.
Good morning. Happy first day of summer.
Happy first day of summer.
Happy first day of summer. The longest day of the year.
Yes, it is. And we're not going to be able to tell because it could be pouring rain.
It could be raining, but that's okay.
Yeah, that's okay.
That's fine.
It's all right.
It's fine.
Yeah.
We'll deal with it. And also,
the garden can use it. And happy Father's Day,
Happy
right?
Father's Day out there to all the fathers out there. And, of course, happy Father's Day to my favorite daddy, Ricky Martin. Yes. He's coming to Ravinia this year.
I did see that.
Yeah. I don't know if I necessarily need to,
go. Just keep the fantasy alive.
I just want to see him. I mean, I don't necessarily need to hear him. I just need to see him.
Are you a fan of his music or?
Yes.
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 But I don't necessarily know. I just kind of want to look at him.
Well, maybe you'll get a chance this summer.
Come on. It's still early in Ravinia. It's a summertime spot. It's fantastic. Yeah. And also, yeah.
Yeah.
And I hope everybody had a really good Juneteenth. That happened.
Yeah.
It was great. Mm-hmm. Hey, and we've got a grand show for you today because we've got basically all of the grand marshals of the Chicago Pride Parade on the show today. Illinois LGBTQ plus Judges Association, the Alliance of Illinois Judges, are among this year's Chicago's Pride Parade community grand marshals, and we are going to be chatting with the honorables. Jill Rose Quinn and Judge Cecilia Horan a little bit later on this hour. And longtime LGBTQ activists Yvette Cardona and Mona Noriega are also another pair that are grand marshals for the parade this year. They're going to be joining us in studio. We get to have people in the studio. I'm so excited. Just like the old days.
Yes.
I know. And Tin Drum Theater Company, which is a relative newcomer to the Chicago theater scene, they are getting rave reviews for their current production of Southern Rapture, Eric Kobel's wickedly funny satire based on true events about a theater in the Bible Belt who announces they're doing a production of Angels in America, and the city goes into a frenzy. We're going to chat with co-artistic director and producer of Southern Rapture, Steve Needham. And this Pride Month Gender Cool project is centering its storytelling around the unshakable bonds of siblings. And we're going to be chatting with siblings, Gender Cool champion, Chazzy Grosshandler, and her sibling, Lev Grosshandler. They're going to talk about their
Yes, we met Chazzy, of course, over the years, but I've never met Lev.
I didn't, me either. I'm very, very excited.
Looking forward to that.
I know. And, of course, we would love to hear from you. So give us a call at 773-763-9278. That number, again, is 773-763-9278. And if you don't feel like chatting with us, well, hey, you can always text us at that self-same number. That is 773-763-9278. Of course, you can listen to Out Chicago Live Sundays from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Central at 8:20 a.m. on TuneIn from heartlandsignal.com, or you can watch the live video from the WCPT Facebook page or the Heartland Signal YouTube page. And today's show is live on Facebook. We're reading your comments, so please leave your thoughts as well as like and share the page. You can find it at facebook.com/WCPT 820. Mm-hmm. How you doing over there?
I'm doing great. It's been a big week of lots of great positive things, which we need, obviously, more than ever. Last Sunday, I went and saw, starting with when I saw you last, Scott, Catch as Catch Can at Steppenwolf. It's written by Mia Chung, directed by the fabulous Amy Morton, featuring 3 ensemble members, fantastic actors, Audrey Francis, Tim Hopper, and Gary Cole. As an actor, I'm sure you could appreciate the challenge of playing both your mother, your father, your son, you know. So there were gender-bending roles. There was playing different generations. Quite a challenge for everybody concerned. My takeaway, though, was there a real payoff for the audience with that challenge? Because I was confused part of the time, as much as I enjoyed the performances. And judging from the reviews that I read, I was not alone in that.
It's a little confusing about
yeah,
who's
but
who.
yes, it can be. Yes,
Because they don't do costume changes, right? It's just like a
in the inflection,
mannerism,
and the mannerisms,
yeah.
You know, but again, it's a joy to behold these actors on stage. I don't take anything away from them, and I'm sure directing this was beyond challenging for Amy. But it's most people I talked to kind of were, a little bit confused by some of who was on stage at the time and is this the son right now or the daughter? Because it's a woman playing a man and a man playing a woman. And sometimes it seemed like the characters spilled over and it's like.
Would they change like mid-scene or was just one scene where they stay?
There was one scene where they were kind of changing mid-scene, but mainly they would. But again, you have to figure out because there's no costume changes, as you said.
Yeah.
But it is Steppenwolf. It is quite the creative experience.
Some good acting, always.
And some great acting.
Always great acting.
Go check it out. I know Gary Cole's a big draw because he's a big movie star and TV star now. But it is playing until July 12th, and. It's a short run. It's not a super long run because they're busy.
They're all busy, all three of those people. Yeah.
Audrey Francis was fantastic. I hadn't seen a lot of what she's done. I know she's one of the artistic directors, and wow, she was fantastic.
I've heard some really great things about her. Apparently she's got one monologue that's just like super duper hilarious.
Yeah, it is. It's great. So. Go for the acting. If you're confused, don't worry. It's not you.
Just let it wash over you.
Just let it wash over you.
Don't try to figure it out. Sometimes it really is like you have to like disengage. You just like let art just kind of happen at you.
And Leopold Stat was a little like that too because it's a 25-person cast where actors do play other roles. So, but as we said for that one and other, just don't worry about identifying everybody just take it in and let it wash over you. So that was Sunday night. That was fun. And then on Monday, Jesse Wells, who's a modern day Bob Dylan. He's like a protest singer. He's great lyrics. He writes a song about ice that you can find on YouTube. It's probably got a zillion million views. He's a prolific writer, and he did a pop-up at the Wiener Circle that I was.
All right.
I got the heads up on. So that was a lot of fun, unexpected on Monday. And then before I get to Juneteenth, June 18th, I had the honor and privilege of being invited to the Presidential Center, Obama Presidential Center watch party.
Wow.
And that was, it was in the Plaisance, the Midway Plaisance, which I had driven by a million times but never really been there. It's a huge spans of green park in Hyde Park near right next to the campus of University of Chicago. My friend Tracy called me at like 7:30 and said her friend in Germany just texted her and said she's got 2 tickets. She thought of me. She said, I know you could probably talk about it on the show and share it.
Yeah.
And so I said, are you kidding me? So I jumped up and,
got everything ready, did a quick brush, and then we're out the door.
In the shower and out. And it was really, oh my God, it was just so great to be among the people that were there. It was a very diverse crowd, as you might imagine, being in Hyde Park. Lots of African American families and all ages. People, all kinds of people were there, but they gave us chairs, which was nice. We got to pick up, real nice, those bag chairs without the bag, but we have chairs. They had some free samples of things around. They had food trucks, but we were just riveted, Scott, by the program. There was a giant screen with an amazing sound system, and you felt like you were actually at the event, which was
itself.
A few blocks away.
Because
it's like when you go to a big concert, you find yourself watching the screen. You can't see the stage as well as you can see the screen, and that's how this felt to us. And we were just like people on TV and people that were live at the 300-person event. There were tears, there was celebration, there was dancing, there was applause, and as we all know, Michelle Obama, as usual, to me had the speech of the moment and of the day.
What a gifted orator she is. She is like I'm like I guess Hillary Clifton. That's what we call her, Hillary Clifton. Hillary Clifton. Yeah, but Hillary Clinton, she was fantastic as in her capacity as First Lady and doing all that, and it's been since Michelle, like her speech was just phenomenal.
And she throws shade in the best of ways.
She most certainly does. In the subtlest of ways. In the subtlest of ways. And yet we are very aware of who's being shaded.
Yes.
Yes.
And I didn't hear him mention anything about it. I was expecting the blowback, but he never has any couth or any civility or any class, and I didn't expect him to not diss this in some way, but I didn't hear that he did. Maybe someone put a muzzle on him because I don't know.
Well, he was too busy trying to pretend that
the reflection.
No, not even the reflecting pool. I mean, I think at that point, he was still in Europe at the G7, and he was like telling the folks that the Prime Minister of Italy was begging him to take her picture with him. And she's like, no.
I don't think so.
I and Italy do not beg, I believe was her official response to all of that. But no, he was in there trying to sign a little peace treaty at Versailles, which was also where they signed the peace treaty for World War I. That was horrible and led us to World War II. Yeah.
So here we are, and it's already broken down apparently, and we can talk about.
No, it didn't even happen. What are you talking about? Like Ding Dong he could not step his foot into talking about the Obamas, especially after like the horrible poop parade that happened at the Claw on his birthday. Yeah. With that one dude who threw up on himself at the weigh-in.
He's pathetic, that guy. The whole thing was horrible.
Yeah.
It's just been an embarrassment of, seeing him on the world stage with all these leaders who have class.
Who are all avoiding him, too.
Yeah, the body language. It doesn't take a... but just to finish up, a couple quick things. Juneteenth, I was at Wrigley Field, and they had the Leo Boys Choir sing the Black National Anthem, Lift Every Voice. And they had African motif designs on all the electronic scoreboard. So they did a nice job of honoring Juneteenth there. And they had the choir do the Black National Anthem, the Canadian National Anthem, and the U.S. National Anthem. So that was a great day, and the Cubs won 16-2. So it was quite an amazing day. And then I have to give kudos to the River Edge Park in Aurora, the Blues on the Fox. They just reopened this beautiful facility. It's on the Fox River. It had been closed for renovations, and what a beautiful experience, both visually and just you're in a park. You're a beautiful stage. They have it well organized. You bring your folding chairs, and they had a great lineup of blues artists. Tommy Castro Band, Allie Venerable, Eric Gales, and Trombone Shorty. Just knocking it out of the park last night. A wonderful, wonderful program. You know what? It seems like it's forever. We were there 11 years ago to the day. That's the last time I was in that area.
All right.
But it is a great facility. And if you want to get away from the city and go hear some music they had food trucks and no lines. And it was just a nice day. It was a beautiful day. So I feel it's one of those weeks in Chicago where I feel like pinch me of the things that I did this week.
It's pretty amazing. I'm still jealous all about Thursday about going.
I was just reflecting on that experience all weekend long because you feel like you're there when you're watching on the big screen and hearing it, with the kind of amplification that we heard, and just being around other people that, it's what gives us hope of what we can be again when we see what we were not that many years ago. Mm-hmm. This is what we can be again, folks. So let's keep working towards that end. Keep hope alive, as Jesse Jackson used to say.
Yeah. Well, that's the Obamas. The Obamas are all about, hope.
They are.
Hope and change.
Yeah.
That is what it was about. And just... I had a weird week because I was supposed to go to. I had a friend. My friend passed away, and I was trying to get to Memphis. There was weather. I was going to be driving, but there was weather downstate, like severe weather, and every weather source said you're going to be driving right into it. So I did not go, but I was able to sit and listen to all of the speeches, all of the performers. It was on Thursday, and it was, like you said, it was a reminder of who we are. For me, that was the 250 celebration.
I agree.
It was both Mrs. Obama and President Obama are, again, such incredibly gifted orators. They know how to drive home a message and communicate with just so well. And listening to, I loved that Michelle Obama took a moment. She's like, all right, we're going to be talking about you. I'm going to talk about you.
Embarrass you.
I'm going to talk about all your praises, because you won't let me do it. And we're finally standing here in front of this, like, the building's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I'm really excited to get down there, but of course you can't get tickets until November right now.
Yeah.
But it officially opened on Juneteenth, which I thought was incredible, like perfect timing to be doing that. And to my understanding, it is not only is it a presidential museum and library, but it is actually a Chicago Public Library.
Yes, it is.
And a community center. There's like a recording studio that's in there. There's basketball courts that are in there.
There's a garden outside.
It is meant to be enjoyed by the people, which I think is so wonderful. And just listening to all of the qualities. It wasn't necessarily the achievements, because the achievements were incredible. Like he had such an uphill battle the
his
entire
temperament
time.
And the way he dealt with things,
And the way that he, she was driving home the fact that, he goes in with his intellect and he believes in science and leads with kindness and compassion and unwavering faith and unwavering patriotism. That's one thing that I really took home with me. It was patriotism is not exclusively a characteristic of the right, even though they're the ones that are waving the flag so much. In fact, I would say it's probably less for people who are waving the flag like that, because they are really looking about the United States.
It's their own version of it.
It's their own version of things.
How it was intended to be. All men are created equal, etc.
Yeah, well, and President Obama, he was when he spoke, it was a reminder of what true leadership looks like and what patriotism looks like. I loved his shout outs to McCain and Romney, the two men that he defeated in the elections.
And Cindy McCain was there. She was in the audience, one of the people. He had. And, Scott, as I've been traveling around the last few months, people ask me from all over the country and, frankly, all over the world, are you excited about the museum? Which tells me they're excited. And we have short memories in this world today. That's just the way things have gone in society. But this will stand to be a constant reminder of what we can be and hopefully empower people to get back to where we were. Because anybody that visits this museum, and there's going to be a lot of people, they say 1 million people a year is what they're anticipating, from this country and all over, who are going to be hopefully emboldened by what they see and hear and be reminded that hope is not lost. There's a lot to still be proud of and a lot to fight for ahead, because we can get back to it. And that's my takeaway.
Yeah. It was truly wonderful. And it was also, it was a great way to honor my friend who was a history teacher.
Oh, yeah.
And
perfect.
I was listening to, I was taking my dog. My dog, poor dog, just takes forever to walk around the block. But I took him out for a walk, and I was listening to President Obama and talking about the importance of curiosity, the importance of kindness, the importance of just like being a servant leader. And these were all of the qualities of my friend too. So it was one of those moments I was like, oh, he talked about you're never sure about what sort of effect you are going to be having on another person.
That's right.
You don't get it.
Mm-hmm.
But by leading with those values, with kindness, with integrity, with a lifelong curiosity, you really are going to touch so many people. And just seeing, it really reminded me of Rhonda. And it was one of those moments where I'm like, oh, this is pretty amazing. It's pretty amazing.
Connect those dots. I think about my dad when you say those things. That's the kind of man he was too. We have to admire those people, because not everybody has that attitude. I understand why. Everybody comes from different walks of life and they have a different story in life. But people like Obama, your friend, my dad, constant inspirations for us all, whether they're here or just were a big part of our lives in the past. So keep those things in mind. That's important, to lead with kindness. And
it really is. It really is. And also just something to that. Here's the one thing that I've also been just really kind of soaking in and trying to, in order to move forward. The only thing that we can control in this world is how we respond to things.
That's right.
You know, that is the only thing that we can control, how we react. And if you react and lead with kindness, if you, take a moment to stop and listen, we can't control other people. We can't control what other people say. You just have to sit there and just kind of be present with it. And I think that is something that we need to continue to do, because as we to strive for is like you can only control what you can control in your world.
That's right.
And you can control a lot by your actions, how you respond, and how you move through the world. Live your values. That's what I always say. Live
good words to
your
live by.
values. Hey, we should probably take a quick break. But before we do that, this part of Out Chicago is brought to you by Team Hochberg. Looking to purchase a home? Call Team Hochberg, your trusted local lender with nearly 800 five-star Google reviews. Tom and Jenny, they have 2 kids, had outgrown their 1,000 square foot apartment with a 640 credit scores, a combined income of $130,000, and limited savings. They called Team Hochberg for a free consultation. Now, David answered their questions, introduced them to a realtor who found them a perfect home, and then helped them secure an FHA mortgage with just 3.5% down. Let's review. Before calling Team Hochberg, Tom and Jenny felt stuck in an apartment that no longer fit their growing family. After speaking with David, they secured an FHA mortgage and purchased their first home with only 3.5% down. If you are looking to buy a home with credit scores in the 600s and limited funds for a down payment, do what Tom and Jenny and thousands of WCPT listeners did. Call Team Hochberg at 855-563-2843 or visit 56david.com. That number again is 855-563-2843 or visit that website you know and love, 56david.com. ACM Equal Housing Lender, NMLS 643114. We are going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're beginning the second part of our first hour with the grandness. It's going to be grand marshals from here on out, so stick around. You're listening to Out Chicago right here on WCPT Heartland Signal.
I'm David Dodd with the Chicago Black Gay Men's Caucus. Welcome back to Out Chicago on WCPT 820.
Welcome back to Out Chicago. Scott Duff here, along with Ellen Miller, just rolling along on this beautiful summer solstice day. Father's Day.
Yeah.
And we are the kicking off Pride Week.
Mm-hmm. This is it.
Hey, but also tomorrow, Monday, on Choose Views, Richard Chu will be joined by Colette Delawala, founder and CEO of Stand Up for Science. Sarah Jones, managing editor and co-publisher at Politicus USA and the Daily Politicus, and Heather Williams, president of the Democratic Legislative Campaign Committee. That's Choose Views, weekdays from 6 to 8 a.m. Central on WCPT 820 a.m., the Heartland Signal website, TuneIn, YouTube, and Facebook. Well, next week, we're going to be broadcasting live from the Center on Halstead over the Pride Parade, and we are very, very fortunate that we have all of the Grand Marshals. We had Grand Marshal Tracy Bain last week, and joining us right now, Illinois' LGBTQ plus Judges Association, the Alliance of Illinois Judges. They are also among this year's Chicago's Pride Parade Community Grand Marshals. And joining us now are the Honorables, Judge Jill Rose Quinn and Judge Cecilia Horan. Welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having us.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for having us, Scott.
Of course, Jill. Welcome
pleasure.
back. It's been a hot minute since we've seen you, and thank you so much for joining us today. Can you tell our listeners a little bit more about the Alliance of Illinois Judges?
So there are several judges organizations in Chicago for different various groups, and Cecilia helped me. Was it 2007?
I want to say
that the Alliance was
2006,
formed?
maybe. I think it was 2006.
So it was formed by a group of out gay judges and lesbian judges as an alliance of all judges who sort of, share the idea that we should be open and out and proud of each other and help each other.
An honorable goal is what I say. There we are. So Cecilia, were you were one of the people that were key in creating the alliance?
No, I came along a little bit later. I think, there were about a dozen judges or so that started the group, and it was before I was a judge, and you can't be a member unless you're a judge.
Right.
But there was, I don't know, maybe 10 or 15 that started the group, and now we've really taken off because we accept judges who are both LGBTQ and also allies. And so we have about 200 members or maybe more. I'm not sure about the exact numbers, but we get so much support by from other judges, and they, other judges they have their own organizations like the Latino judges or the South Asian judges. They're groups of judges that kind of have things. They have ethnicity or other things in common, and the judges' organizations are all very friendly with each other. We support them; they support us, and so we have a lot of members who are not LGBTQ but are allies to our group.
So our community. I understand that part of the mission is also to support future lawyers. How does that manifest? How do you do that?
Well, I think future judges. Is that what you mean?
One of the press releases I read said support future lawyers, but I guess maybe future judges, lawyers that are going to be future judges.
Right. Well,
I think a lot of us mentor lawyers that come up. I've been involved with law students and as a mentor, and I've gone to the National LGBT Bar Association and worked with other lawyers and talked about how lawyers can, how gay lawyers and lesbian lawyers and bi and transgender lawyers can become judges through the electoral system or through whatever merit system their states have. So that's part of our mission, is to involve more of our community in the judiciary.
Excellent.
So how important is it to be out and represented when you are serving on the bench?
Wow.
Jill, do you want to answer, or do you want me to answer?
You go first.
All right. I don't know that judges particularly, have rainbow flags in their courtrooms or chambers, but. There are ways. If anybody Googles me, you can see, all over the place that I'm involved in all this LGBTQ, all these organizations, and do a lot of things in the community. And also, the whole gaydar thing. Sometimes you can just tell.
Yeah.
And so I think it's really important. For we want to represent. We want people of the community to see that we are normal people. That we, are highly qualified to do what we're doing, and that the community, the makeup of the community is reflected in the judiciary, because it makes people feel safe. It makes people feel heard. Mm-hmm. I think there's a phrase that says that if you can't see it, you can't be it. And so if other LGBTQ people can be inspired to do something, go into the law or want to become a judge or anything else, we're happy to be that kind of model.
Yeah, there really is something so important, like you were saying, about visibility, about what you just said. If you can't see it, you can't be it. And to be an out presence just reinforces the fact that, hey, we're everywhere. It's like we are in every walk of life that's going on.
Exactly.
And for you, Jill, I know this is visibility is really important, as you were the first openly transgender woman elected to the circuit judge. How are you? What does it mean for you to carry that mantle? I mean, we were talking about the Obama Presidential Center and, Mrs. Obama saying, you were a first and you had to carry with that all of the extra expectations that went along with that. Do you find that is the case for you?
Well, I guess if I thought about it too much, I'd probably be paralyzed.
Right.
So I just kind of concentrate on doing my job and being out there and making sure that I am a beacon that trans people see me, especially trans kids, when they're in court or what have you. I think it's really important for them to see me and know that there's life after high school. If they're bullied, they don't have to be, because there's nothing wrong. They can go as far and as wide and as high as they want. When I was campaigning, I would have grandmothers of trans kids and non-binary kids come up to me and my wife when we were campaigning and tell us how important it was for them to see me. I try to always be out. I start my call by announcing my pronouns and inviting people to tell me what pronouns they want to use. They want me to use to address them, and I do my best in the courtroom to make sure that everybody else uses the right pronouns. Mm-hmm. But it really is important, because with visibility, you have you give the legal system more legitimacy. If the legal system isn't open to everybody, then it's not a legitimate system.
Right.
It's just a corporate office somewhere.
Yeah, and it's also not only important to trans youth, but to youth across the board. I always say, when people are like, Barbie, it's an important movie for young girls to see, or Kamala Harris watching to see girls, it's so important for young girls. I'm like, it's also really important for young boys to see that women and trans men and non-binary, to see the cisgender folks, to see that this is possible, not just for the trans youth who, of course, are just aching to see themselves. Mm-hmm. But I think it's just really, really important. And thank you for your pride and visibility.
And congratulations for being recognized for your pride and visibility on the upcoming parade next week.
Yeah, we were just bursting with pride about that, I tell you.
Yeah.
As you should.
Yeah, I know. Cecilia, what was your reaction when you found out that that the Alliance of Illinois Judges was going to be one of the Chicago Pride Parade Community Grand Marshals?
I mean, just sheer excitement. It was funny. I got the call, and I think it was a Saturday or something that I got the call, and I was so excited about it, and I wanted to tell the group, but I was away out of town with my family, and I wanted to do it the right way. So I held on to this gem of a piece of information, and I think I told everybody about it on Monday. I can't remember if it was by email or text, but I was just so excited to announce the news. And then as soon as I announced the news, it was like a swarm of bees. It was like, what are we going to do? Can we get a trolley? Are we going to get T-shirts? It was just amazing. Everybody was so excited. Well, and still everybody, everybody's still really just, we're just really can't wait till Sunday.
Yeah, it really is an incredible thing too, especially, there's something about marching in the Chicago Pride Parade, which, by the way, is next Sunday, the 28th, starting at 11. That really, it's very empowering and also humbling to see all of these people who turn out in support of LGBTQ plus equality and for freedom, and to know that you are going to be leading the way, not just in the parade route, but just leading our community. It really is just such an incredible thing. So congratulations to both of you and to the entire organization of the Alliance of Illinois Judges.
Thank you.
And I don't want it to be lost on anybody the fact that the rule of law is leading the Pride Parade. Yes. Because it's so important that we pay respect to the law and the equal administration of the law.
Absolutely.
That is. I know, because this year we are definitely free to be proud. Honorable people, thank you so much for joining us today.
Good to hear from you both. Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
We'll look for you in the parade next week.
Wave up when you pass the center on Halstead. We're going to be on the second floor. Give us a wave, and we'll be waving
calling
at you.
Out. All right?
All right. We will.
Absolutely.
And happy Pride Week.
Happy Pride.
Happy Pride.
Yeah, all right, we're going to take a quick break. And when we get back, we've got more Grand Marshals. So stick around. You're listening to Out Chicago right here on WCPT Heartland Signal.
Welcome back. I'm Paul Oakley-Stovall. You're listening to Out Chicago on WCPT.
Welcome back to Out Chicago. Scott Duff here, along with Ellen Miller, just rolling along.
Yes, we are.
Hey, tomorrow on Live, Local, and Progressive, Jenna Esposito's guests include Professor Stephen Schwinn of the University of Illinois Chicago School of Law and Ed Yonka, Director of Communications and Public Policy at ACLU, Illinois. That's Live, Local, and Progressive, weekdays from 2 to 5 p.m. Central on WCPT 820 a.m., heartlandsignal.com, and tune in. Well, as we've been talking, the Pride Parade is this next Sunday. It's coming up, and you can tune in right here for a live broadcast. We're up there on the center in Halstead, waving everybody. And joining us now, I'm so happy. I'm so happy that you're here, and so happy that you're actually here in studio.
We're here.
Thank goodness. We have longtime activists Mona Noriega and Yvette Cardona. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, and
Pleasure to be here.
congratulations. Okay, we're just gonna start right off with what was your response when you heard the news?
Oh, that's so funny. They called a couple of times, and we
Did you
did.
just not answer?
Yeah,
There were emails and just
we were
life
just
is so
like,
busy.
yeah, we were busy and we were
Why don't you wanna
traveling,
talk
and we
to
didn't
us?
know why they wanted to talk to us. And finally, Tracy said, can you call them back?
When Tracy tells you to do something, then
That's
you
Tracy
do.
Babe. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, we called them back, set up a Zoom meeting, and still, had no idea. And then they said, there was, I guess the Pride Parade now is a 501c3 nonprofit, right? So donations are tax deductible to them. And they said that they wanted to return it to the community, and had a vote that happened somehow, and we were nominated and chosen to be the Grand Marshals. And funny that it was on Zoom, because I think we were both just like jaws hanging a little bit, like, what do you
So
say
you're
to something
completely
like-
surprised by it.
Completely surprised.
Completely surprised, unexpected, and then the question was, well, why us?
How did that
You're not giving yourselves enough credit for
I
all the
know.
work
Yeah.
you've done.
Really.
But hold on, wait a second. But no, you two have been like pillars of the queer community for decades. Your work has been, Amigas Latinas. You started that organization. There's also, Mona, you helped open Lambda Legal's Midwest office and served as regional director as well. Yvette, you co-founded Women of All Colors and Cultures Together. And you've worked with the Polk Brothers Foundation. Oh, okay, that's it?
Okay, that's all it takes to become. No. So we're very honored, very honored. I mean, we were taken aback, but, when, what we have been saying recently, when you are given flowers, you say thank you.
That is
right?
exactly
And
what I was...
especially from your community that, we've been sort of privileged to be sometimes reluctant leaders, but leaders who have just, shown up and, leaned in. And I didn't come out until much later. So once I did, I don't know if I had time to make up or something, but it was all out. And so it is a real honor.
Yeah,
We're
well,
really
I
honored.
always find that people who are in, like nonprofit and service, like service to the public, they have a hard time accepting the flowers. It's like, because I'm just doing the work that
Right,
you're like, you're
exactly.
just, and you were just doing the work.
But I think it's because we're always working in context. And
Yeah.
so we are always working with others, and there are always a bunch of others. And so the community is so large, and there are so many people who are working in the community. So in
Right.
all the organizations that we've participated in, there are people who are just every single day working to make this world a better place.
Yeah. Well,
So you've been around for a while. What are some of the milestones that you've witnessed in the LGBTQ community that have really been the most impactful?
Well, working at Lambda Legal was quite an honor, right? And so when I first got there, marriage equality was on the agenda.
Right.
But even more front and center at the time we began the Midwest Regional Office, it was about child custody. It was about family establishing family protections for our families. It was about protecting service people in the military. So to have experienced all those changes, it just brings me to tears sometimes, you know. And then to have marriage equality really happen.
Right.
Wow. We actually Lambda won the first marriage case, but we lost it in the court of public opinion in Hawaii. So it became clear that the community had to be better organized, educated, and demand that we get the right to
Call
marry.
to action. Then.
And strategic. I remember that. That's when I was first learning about Lambda. Mona and I had just gotten together and thought, wow, that was easy. We got it. Like Hawaii passed. And then, within like 5 minutes, it was just like overturned.
Yeah.
And, to see the work of Lambda, to see the work that Mona was doing and just being out, as I said, I came out later, was just inspiring. And so you just kind of, you get swept up and it's like, absolutely, we have to keep fighting for this. So
and today we, as you talked about the military and equal, marriage rights for, those are all under attack right now. And does it make you feel like you got to double down and just keep going? Or do you get frustrated? We're
Well, I always liked when Yvette was at the Obama opening, and I really love that the president's call was that this is a process, and we have to continue to be engaged.
Yes,
and that it's never a given.
No,
and
obviously.
so obviously not, right? So again, when I think back of the work of Lambda, there was a lot of protections for students from bullying, protections for the teachers in employment, and those things are being slowly, state by state, municipality by municipality, being dismantled.
Yes.
And I never thought that we would have marriage in our lifetime, which is why after domestic registry, we did that in 2003. And then when civil union came, we just sort of went buck wild and, ordered the cake and got dressed and flew the family in because we thought that was it. And not that was enough, but like that was going to be it because that marriage would never happen. And then when it did, 3 years later, absolutely. We got married sort of that weekend because I did not want to step off the curb and get hit by a bus, and we hadn't gotten married. Because I know some people were waiting for the civil union date. And to now live in a world where that is being challenged, where they just said this morning that the percentage of people approving of gay marriage is going down. And I'm like, well, you're just asking the wrong people. Because,
Thank you.
And, so I don't want to say I don't think that will ever be undone because I've been so surprised in terms of when you say milestones of what's been happening. So we continue to, live our life. I've been in the closet a long time, and I am not going back
right
there.
on.
Thank you.
Amen.
Amen to that.
Snap.
All the snaps.
Yeah.
So were you at the watch party?
Yes, Thursday.
I was. It was pretty.
Oh no! I was at the center.
Oh, you were at the center.
I was at the center.
Oh, good for you.
Behind the stages and the paparazzi, which was interesting.
That's
But I
okay.
was there, and if I leaned like to the right, I could see the podium, and I was, I just kept leaning. I didn't want to let people know why I was leaning because then everybody would stand up. But they figured it out, so it was a real honor.
I'm glad you were there.
So what was it like for you to be at that opening?
Oh, just amazing. We had the honor of being at the first Pride reception at the White House when Obama was elected.
Yeah.
And so not like a full circle, but just like now here, he's back in Chicago, opening the center and that whole journey. And it was really just a beautiful day. The sky, the clouds, everything was perfect. It was a real
hope
honor.
in the air, right?
A lot of hope. And I've been in the museum. It's unbelievable. And to be reminded of the hope and the promise, and my brain kind of having a little cognitive dissonance with what's going on, but to keep going back to that this is, I don't want to say that it's a blip, because it's a huge one, and there's going to be a lot of work. It's just not a matter of the administration changing. It's going to take
a lot
years and a lot of work, but to hear Obama and to see all the other presidents, it was just amazing.
It was a shot in the arm.
It sure was. It sure was. Absolutely. It's a great way to put it. Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, we got another shot in the arm coming next week.
Yes.
As you are stepping off with the Grand Marshals. The theme is Free to be Proud. What are you most proud of?
Well, I guess I'm proud of the community that is currently in this, for example, elevating our own, and for saying that community is important, and for recognizing Tracy Bame, who is the most astounding person I know, and for the judges, of course, how important are they? Oh my God! And then they awarded a grant to the Puerto Rican Culture Center.
Yeah,
and
wow.
It's a beautiful thing, and so I'm very proud that the community is not backing down.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Not backing down and claiming what is rightfully should be elevated.
Yeah. And I'm a lifelong Chicagoan. Both of us are born and raised here, and so I'm so proud of Chicago's queer community. And sometimes it's like there's Chicago and the rest of the world, but sometimes there is. And I just love that the queer community here is really, I think, a model for. We've never lived any other city, so we're not sure. But what we've heard of people saying, Chicago just has it going on in terms of the queer community, the leaders here, the advocacy, and again, just what we call the chingonaness of just being badasses and claiming what is ours.
That's right.
And not taking away, because we are not doing anything wrong. Still to this day, we are not doing anything wrong. Love is love.
Love is love.
And, working with Amigas, that's what we always had to try to, share with the women. You'd never apologize for being Latina. You never apologize for being queer. And so I'm just really proud of our community here in the city.
We're proud of you too.
Thank you.
Really. And for me, I've been saying a lot this year, the Pride feels different. It feels urgent and necessary. And I don't know if that's just me feeling that or if it's kind of just spilling out throughout, but one of the things that I always like to remind people about the Pride Parade is that people marched so that we could have a parade.
Absolutely.
And with the words of the Obamas this week, and with your leadership and what you do, your actions, it really is like, okay, this is a call to action. It's a reminder that let's celebrate, let's have joy, let's have a parade. But tomorrow, let's roll up our sleeves and get back to the work, because we're doing nothing wrong.
Absolutely. I mean, I think last year's parade, having occurred, sort of after the inauguration and the change and the sort of, I don't want to say deer in headlights, but just the fear that was being raged by the administration amongst so many communities, right? Immigrant community, Latinos, African-American, queers. I think we've seen in the last year that okay, we, kind of took our breath away. We've got it back.
Yeah.
And we've got that shot in the arm. And again, with the Obama Center opening and just the work that's been happening, and, don't think the deportations are not still happening, because they are. And that work is continuing, that you're right, that this feels like, okay, bring it, because we are ready.
We're ready.
We're ready.
It's a galvanizing moment for our community.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And so it's just so honored, to be kicking off that parade. It's really going to be pretty something.
Yeah.
It's well deserved.
We are very, very proud of you two for all the work that you do and have done. Mona Noriega, Yvette Cardona, thank you so much. And congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
Make sure you give us a wave as you pass the center on the house shed.
Out to the crowd.
There you are. There you are.
All right. Thank you. Happy Pride, everybody out there.
Happy Pride to you.
Happy Pride.
We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, it is the second hour of Out Chicago right here on WCPT Heartland Signal.
I'd like to welcome you to WCPT AM's Out Chicago. Think of us as Sunday brunch with your gay best friends. Now please welcome your host, Scott Duff.
Welcome back to the second hour of Out Chicago. Scott Duff here, along with Ella Miller. Just rolling along.
I'm feeling the pride, Scott.
We're feeling the pride. We're feeling the pride. We're feeling the action. I love it.
Yes,
I love
I
it.
do too. We need
I love that we've had almost all of the Grand Marshals
I know, it's
on our show.
Of course we had them.
Because we never get them when they're driving by.
No.
We have to move real fast.
Yeah.
Because next week is the 55th annual Chicago Pride Parade. The theme is Free to Be Proud, and we are going to be broadcasting live from the Center on Halstead next week. So if you can't make it down to the Pride Parade, you can tune in right here on WCPT 820, and you can hear our play-by-play There we've got some special guests. Ken Mejia Beal's going to be there. Kat McDonald from Second City is going to be there. We're going to have some folks all around. It's just going to be
We
fun.
might have some special people coming on the microphone. Maybe Jerry. Maybe Kathy.
Yes, Jerry and Kathy are going to be there. I've got some friends who are going to be joining us as well.
And I have another friend joining us as well. That it's a surprise. I'll tell you about later.
Oh, all right. Well, hey, I love that. And we've got some surprises for the rest of the show today. We've got coming up a little bit later on. Gender Cool Project, our good friends over there. This Pride season, they are focusing their storytelling about the deep relationship between siblings. And we are very, very excited to have coming up in studio a little bit later on, the Gender Cool champion Chazzy Grosshandler and her sibling, Lev Grosshandler, are going to be in studio to talk about their journey together. But right now, we're very, very excited to talk about Tim Drum Theater. They're relatively like a newcomer to the Chicago theater scene. They are currently getting rave reviews for their production of Southern Rapture. It's Eric Kobel's wickedly funny satire based on true events. And this is the part that always makes me go, what? About a theater in the Bible Belt who announces they're doing a production of Angels in America, and the city goes into a frenzy. And joining us now is co-artistic director and producer of Southern Rapture, Steve Needham. Steve, welcome to the show.
Hi, Scott. It's good to talk to you. It's been many years since I think I last saw you.
I know. I was just going to say, it's been a hot minute since we've chatted. How you been?
I've had quite a journey of leaving theater and then coming back to it. So
I know. Well, I'm glad that you have returned, come back into the fold, as they say. For our folks who are listening out there, can you tell us a little bit about the mission and history of Tin Drum Theater Company?
Well, a couple of years ago, I and a few of my friends decided to produce and stage a play that I had written while a student at the University of Chicago. And that was a play about John Wilkes Booth and Edwin Booth, the famous stage actor. And obviously everyone knows who John Wilkes Booth is. But I was really, I used that as an opportunity to kind of explore historical, the ramifications of big events in history and how they just continue to reverberate, and the kind of anger around and radicalization of people and anger at their leaders, and whether it's whether it's well founded or not, what it can drive them to do. So that production was successful enough that we decided to, let's really do this. Let's form a company and keep it going. So Southern Rapture is now our fourth production, and it's probably our biggest production, I would say, at this point. And we've been thrilled with the response that we've gotten from reviewers and from the audience. And we had the playwright with us last night at the show for a talk back. And, I'm always pleased when you do a talk back and the majority of the audience stays afterwards for it. That tells you they really got something out of what they just saw. So
100%. Yeah. So for our listeners out there, how did this play come to you? And can you just maybe expand a little bit more on what the story of Southern Rapture that's now playing at Theater Wit?
Yeah. So I had some mutual friends with the playwright, and he just happened to post on Facebook. This was probably about, a year and a half ago, that he had written this play. I think he wrote it maybe in 2009, 2010. He had been commissioned by a theater company in Charlotte, North Carolina, to write about their experience of producing Angels in America in the 90s. So the Charlotte Repertory was the first theater in the South and one of only 6 regional theaters to initially get the rights to produce Angels in America outside of New York. And when they announced this production, or I guess when it became known what the content was and that there was nudity in it, it kind of ignited this firestorm among the more conservative people in the community that this was pornographic and needed to be shut down. So, they ultimately tried to shut the theater down, but the theater company prevailed in the courts, and were able to go on with the show with protesters outside. And Tony Kushner came to see the production with a police escort.
Wow.
And as soon as the show was over, he got back on the plane and went back to New York. And I don't think there was no violence that actually erupted. There was just, always that threat of violence that comes with these sorts of, when you get this pushback
from good Christian folks. Yeah.
Yeah. Trying to censor what you're saying. And, and they had, tried to hang their head on the fact that there was, full frontal male nudity. But of course, if anyone has seen Angels in America, it's in a medical exam scene is where it really comes in. It's not, it's not like
sexy.
Sexual.
It's not sexy.
Yeah, exactly. What they were really objecting to, of course, was the homosexual story, the idea that we were going to present, the lives of these people and their relationships, and also, of course, being critical of Ronald Reagan, the religious right, and all of that. That's really what they were trying to censor, but they knew they couldn't win on that argument, so they had to go with the fact that there was nudity in the show. Mm-hmm. And they ultimately, North Carolina happened to have a law on the books that I think was maybe a little more ambiguous than in other places as to whether nudity, even in an artistic form on a stage, really, was it legal or not. And, so the argument was made. Ultimately, the theater won and got to do their show, but the ramifications were that the city council and the mayor and these other leaders cut all funding for the arts in order to make sure, well, not all, but a lot of funding for the arts, like across the board. So it wasn't just that this theater company lost its funding. The operas, even the museums lost funding. And, it was a body blow to the arts community in Charlotte at the time when this happened. And, there was an article in a newspaper in Charlotte that was talking about how we're wondering whether they had ever actually recovered from that fully with art, the arts funding that they had achieved and then had taken away, whether they had ever come out of that really as strong as they had been. So all this is to say the theater company commissioned Eric Hobelt. They had done one of his other plays, and they commissioned him to write this play for them. So it had a production in North Carolina, and then it had one other production in Houston, Texas, I believe. So we are the third production. And I found it when he made a social media post, I thought, well, that sounds interesting, and that sounds like something that I would be interested very much in Tin Drum doing, because again, it has this historical aspect, and the kind of the ramifications of culture wars, what that actually means for a community. Because there's a cost to be paid on every side,
Right.
Yeah,
of the culture wars. And I thought that exploration of that idea was interesting to me. And Eric had written a really sophisticated play where I won't say that he tries to do both sides of the issue. It's not like he's trying to say that people trying to censor you are have equally valid points as the artist. But what he does do very well is kind of present what happens when people of all types are stuck in bubbles and unable to really see or hear outside of them. And what happens is everyone just is throwing gasoline on the bonfire,
right,
and making it worse. And, he doesn't let all of the artists off scot-free either. There are some egos involved, and instead of trying to find a solution, it's, how dare you try to silence me? So I think he does a really good job of presenting a drama in which all the people are just being human and having flaws.
And all the mess that comes with it. Yeah.
Yeah, the theater director in the play is not perfect. The producer is not perfect. They could probably have made some different choices that would not have resulted in, threats of their actors being arrested.
Yeah.
Steve, I was going to ask, was there a particular scene or moment that the cast and creative team found particularly rewarding?
Yeah, so there's a scene in the play where the director of the Angels in America has been renamed in the play Rapture in America. That's kind of the fictional play they give it. Mm-hmm. So the mayor of the town and the director end up on Nightline to debate each other, which I believe is also based on a true event. I think they actually did have a segment on Nightline where these people were arguing with each other.
Interesting.
And what I liked about it is when they're getting ready for their Nightline debate, they're each being like given a pep talk by their supporters and their handlers, and they're each of them are saying are very similar things. They're trying to shove their agenda down our throat, and we need to stand up to the Nazis. We need to stand up to this. We need to stand up to And when you're listening to it, one's doing it from the left, one's doing it from the right, but their point of view as to what they think they're trying to achieve and fight for is actually kind of the same thing, which is, I think, really rewarding for both the audience and it was for the cast and working on it.
Yeah, 100. There's something so wonderful about taking a play that's based on true events. Did you feel like there was a greater sense of responsibility with telling this story, because it was true, but it also it's Southern Rapture, Eric Coble, it's a comedy.
Yeah,
so, you've got all of this.
So.
So you have all of this dark stuff going on, the fact that, you've got funding being taken away. You've got threats of people, being arrested and yet we turn it around and make it into a comedy. Did you feel like there was a greater responsibility to telling this story?
Yeah, I mean, whenever you're dealing with historical events, I think he had fictionalized the characters enough that I wasn't too worried about any individual person being misrepresented. So but one of the responsibilities that I found in talking with younger people who don't know Angels in America, which for me, I guess as theater people, we just kind of
take that for granted.
Knows.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. I had the same thing with Steel Magnolias with some young people.
Yeah. There's a Steel Magnolias joke in the play.
Wonderful.
Actually, which is
who knew?
But the responsibility of I think even to some younger audiences that don't necessarily understand that a play with gay content would not only possibly be banned, but it might be unsafe to perform it. And letting them understand that even just 30 years ago, this took place in 1996, there were bomb threats and, all because someone was doing a Pulitzer Prize, Tony Award winning play. Right?
Yeah.
just in the wrong place. It was just a place where that wasn't going to be acceptable. And I can remember even here in Chicago, the bailiwick doing Corpus Christi and getting, these kind of security concerns. I did a play in Cleveland, Ohio in 2001 that had gay content and some nudity on stage. And we were also threatened and had to have security walk us to our cars afterwards. And that was just 25 years ago. Yeah. So, I certainly hope that, some of the younger people in the audience have a kind of a more of an appreciation of the fights that people have been fighting for so long. I hope maybe they realize that it isn't a given that we can just present our stories the way we want. And I think they are realizing that because as, with each passing day, it seems like there's an increasing danger that we won't be able to. That's another reason why we wanted to do this show. Because whatever steps we took forward, very sadly, it seems like it's, going backwards in many ways. And I had an audience member. I had someone come up to me after a show last weekend And he was very emotional. He was an older gentleman, very emotional, not only because I think the reminder of what life was like in the 80s and 90s was bringing up a lot of memories for him, but, he said something along the lines of, I had that brief hope there that the world had evolved and was getting better. And then that was taken away from me. So, the end of the play raised a lot of those feelings for him. And I think it's done that for a lot of people.
Sure.
And it is very much, I do want to also say, it is very much a comedy.
Very funny,
much
yes.
A farce.
That's
it ends on an emotional note.
Both.
But I want people to know that.
Yeah.
Well, no, but I think that's one of the things that's so wonderful. It serves as a little time capsule. Like, here's what happened. Here's what was going on, very real, just 30 years ago. And yet you're able to, there's a spin on it that you're able to find the absurdity, to find moments of laughter, to find the satire within this thing, and also just kind of to check along, like, exactly how far we've come. And I think you said it so wonderfully too, like, how far we've come, but these rights are never guaranteed, and they seem to be slipping away. And it's a reminder that we have to keep on fighting. I think it is a perfect show for Pride going on here. So you make sure that you do not miss Eric Kobel's Southern Rapture. It's presented by Tin Drum Theater Company at Theater Wit. It's now playing through. You've got one more week to see it, so make sure you get out there through June 28th. For tickets and information, you can go to tindrumtheater.com, and that's theater with an R-E because they are fancy that way. Steve Needham, so great to hear your voice and to catch up after all these years. Nice. And congratulations not only on Southern Rapture, which is now playing at Theater Wit through the 28th, but on entering into the Chicago theater scene with Tin Drum Theater Company. Congratulations, and we look forward to see what's coming up next.
Thank you so much for having me on. It's great to talk to you.
All righty, and happy Pride to you.
You too as well.
Thank you so much. All right, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, there's more Out Chicago right here on WCPT Heartland Signal.
Hi, I'm Spencer Tweedy, and you're listening to Out Chicago on WCPT.
Welcome back to Out Chicago. Scott Duff here, along with Ella Miller, just rolling along, feeling the energy in here. Hey, tomorrow on Driving It Home, Patty Vasquez will talk to Woodstock Committee woman Natalie Ziemba and candidate for McHenry County Board Austin May. Also this week, singer-songwriter Steve Goody, Matt Masdam, candidate for Congress in Michigan's 7th District, and Tim Tarrant of the Brotherhood of Railroad Signalmen. That's Driving It Home with Patty Vasquez, weekdays from 5 to 7 p.m. Central on WCPT 820 AM, the Heartland Signal website, TuneIn, YouTube, and Facebook. All right, now, I'm so happy to see both of these shining faces here. Because, at a time when transgender young people continue to make headlines in ways that are a total disconnect from who they really are, the need for allies to step up and correct this misinformation has never been greater. And we've often heard from parents on transgender youth themselves during the month of Pride. But, what about the siblings here? Mm-hmm. We're very excited. This is what I've been saying, too, because we need people who aren't necessarily members of communities to stand up. Right. And joining us now is Gender Cool Project champion Chazzy Grosshandler and her sibling Aleva Grosshandler.
How's it going?
It's going great. Well, it's so nice to meet you. Finally, I've been hearing stories about you for years, Lev. But before we get to you, Lev, Chazzy, can you just remind our listeners a little bit about the work that Gender Cool Project does?
Yes, for sure. So the Gender Cool organization is just a organization placing misinformed opinions with real positive, powerful experiences, meeting transgender and non-binary young people who are thriving. I'm a proud transgender woman. And we just do a lot of storytelling and amplifying and showing the world that we are more than just a label. We are human and we belong in every space.
Yeah, amen.
Of course you do.
Amen on that one. So, okay, Lev, take us back to when Chazzy first came out to you. What was that like? What was that like? What was your reaction? How did it feel to you?
Absolutely. What I'll also say is that ever since Chazzy and I were on this earth together, we've had this extremely special connection. We would grow up together, and we would play Tea Party together, and she would take these pillowcases and put them on her head, and have it simulate long hair, and we would play dress up. And so when she decided to tell us who she really was as a family, honestly, from my perspective, not really much changed, right? Like, she was still who she was as a person. The things that we did together were still the same, but the difference was that she could actually just be her true authentic self. So we were able to see her blossom as a person, and that was like over 11 years ago now, which is crazy.
I know. I can't believe. Has it been that long since we've met, too?
Yes. I think so. I'm 20 now, so yes, definitely.
Yeah, that's bananas. I just can't.
No, I can't.
Okay, I know.
I've grown up.
You have. Really it's been really great to kind of we consider, of course, the Gender Cool is just a gigantic family, but you are family here. So this was 11 years ago, which is still like mind blowing. How would you say that your relationship has evolved along this journey? Because all of a sudden now you've got I've got a family that's very public right now. How has that affected you? And how is clearly you two adore each other? It's so adorable right now.
Yeah,
sorry.
No, absolutely. I think that our relationship has really evolved in really any way that sort of like a sibling relationship has evolved, right? We're a big family of 4. I'm older brother. We have another one who's older than me, a younger brother, and then Chazzy's the baby, and so we're 6 or 7 years apart. So throughout our lives, people go through different things, right? People go through middle school and high school, and
which is awful.
Exactly. And when siblings are there for each other, right, in a way that maybe parents are maybe sort of removed or friends are removed from. And so what was so great is that throughout our lives, of course, there's bumps in the road, nothing's perfect, there's adversity, but we were always there for each other. Yeah. And we always supported and loved each other, and no one was perfect. Just peeling the onion back a little bit, peeling layers back. I had trouble with pronouns at times, but Chazzy was always there to support me, to give me grace, to give our family grace, and she understood that the intention was positive, and that's really what matters.
And Chazzy, what has Love's support for you meant to you?
For sure. I mean, Love's support has meant truly the world to me. I think hearing positive stories of proud transgender young people with their siblings that have been such allies, right? Love doesn't even question anything. He simply embraces it. And he literally growing up, and when I forced him to play Tea Party with me and all these things, he just enjoyed it. And he didn't do it just because he wanted to be the big brother that he was, but he felt happy about it. And so I talk about it all the time, how truly grateful I am to have him in my life. So
I love that. That's
I know.
beautiful.
I'm getting all teary because my sister, who is, there's basically the same amount of age between the two of you that with me and my sister. She's my hero. She is my hero, and now I'm gonna cry. But there's something really, really special about that relationship. And also, it's not true for everybody, because I also have a brother who I'm really at odds with, more with political stuff and racism and misogyny and all that other things. But to have that sort of bond together is great. And of course, your siblings, you're going to get on each other's nerves, It's get out of my room, True
that.
So, I'm sorry. I'm just getting, I'm really overwhelmed just right now, just realizing how lucky I am to have a sibling who is so supportive of me and my beloved, and to see the two of you just be there for each other.
And your relationship probably has strengthened, I would say. Right? I mean, it was probably strong from the beginning, but has it gotten even stronger since you've come out?
I mean, definitely. I think we talk about it all the time, but it's like so funny. Like now that we're both like in our 20s and like now I'm not a teenager more, we're talking about like dating, which is a big thing, and job stuff. And so like it's just a real relationship that's authentic, that's honestly not different than any other brother and sister duo. We talk about real authentic things that are happening in our lives, and it's just like great. Like there's no, I see a lot of nuance being like, oh, like it's so strange that like one like sibling who's like cisgender, like having like a trans sibling, oh, that must be so weird to navigate. But we're just like any other brother sister duo. Yeah. We do have our moments where we may not always get along. That's true. But sibling love is forever.
I agree. There's nothing, my dad used to say, there's nothing closer than siblings that you have.
Exactly.
Lev, just a little on a more serious note, you know, we're looking at a world with the current administration that has put the trans community under attack. How does it make you feel, and how do you respond to that as the sibling of a trans sister?
It's very, very sad. And what we found is that a lot of the times people who have never met anyone who's transgender, and maybe depending on their news feed or social media feed or their community around them, they may have misconceptions about who these people are. And so that's why I challenge folks, and at Gender Cool, what we do is we share stories of who these people are. They're normal people just like my sister, right? They're actors and photographers and scholars and athletes and musicians. And they are just normal kids. And if you were to meet one of these kids, you would realize that, like, wow, this is just like my kid or my sibling or my cousin or my friend. And they deserve to, like, have their own full lives just like anyone else. So I think that's the real anecdote to some of what we're seeing with the administration, is that you just need to share these stories of, like, what happens when you support these people. Like, good outcomes happen. And visibility, so important, obviously. You know, and luckily we live in a state and in a city, in a metropolitan area that is different sometimes than the rest of the country. And as you say, it's fear of the unknown. You know, if they got to know someone like Chazzy, I know that their opinions would change. So it's so important, and I love that you've been out and, you know, for all these years and on our show and Gender Cool. Tell us about Gender Cool. I mean, what has that organization meant for you?
I think for me, what Gender Cool has been able to do has just been so transformative. I mean, coming up on being almost 9 years old, like, to see that we have been able to do so much good for people, and to see that no matter what, like, we are changing hearts and minds. And when people, like my brother Lev said, when people just get to know us, when people just get to see the work that Gender Cool is doing, right? Like, we are truly like one of the first of its kind of organization, really focusing on these people. And as an organization, we always want to look beyond the identity of being transgender, being non-binary. Like, we are future journalists and doctors and lawyers and so much more. And that's what we want to show. Wow, these kids who are just happen to be transgender and non-binary, look at all the incredible stuff they've been able to do in their lives. So
yeah,
so true.
That is one of the best things about, look, these Gender Cool champions, y'all are just freaky talented. Like, it's just, I'm like, where did you find these incredible human beings? Because all of the champions are just incredible human beings and really talented. And that's what I think is so wonderful about the work that you all do with Gender Cool Project, is the fact that you are saying that the fact that I am trans is probably the least interesting thing about me, you know, and it really is about lifting up, like, and because I'm able to live authentically, because I am able to be supported by my siblings, I am able to thrive.
Exactly.
You know? Yeah, it's so great. So, okay, Lev, what is I know we've got a champion here. There, you know, so do you work with Gender Cool Project? Like, how do you fit into this whole delightful organization?
Yeah, so since the jump, I've been involved in the organization. I actually worked full time for them for 2.5 years.
Oh, wow.
Mainly with, like, sort of our corporate arm, you know, working with corporations where a lot of these folks spend their time, right? Like there's really sort of targeting and serving families and parents of trans and non-binary people and showing them that these are normal kids, and then also creating professional development opportunities for the champions and the trans and non-binary youth across America.
All right, there we are.
And I just have to say, you are the first trans child I ever met. So you will always have a special meaning to me.
Thank you.
And I admired you from when you were a 9-year-old. And I was like, the courage that you showed, the bravery, the fortitude to be who you are is something that has never left me. And that experience I'll never forget.
Well, thank you for sharing that. I'm forever grateful. So thank you.
To you. I am to you, too.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean that.
And Evie.
Yes.
Evie's,
we love her.
We love her. She's cuckoo bananas, but she's great. You know?
Oh, she sure is.
Friends with her, and her mom is kicking butt all over with the Lincoln Project and doing everything. Anyway, hey, we should probably take a break. Can you guys hang out for a little bit longer?
Yeah,
Thank you.
Oh,
yes.
Fabulous. Great. We are going to take a quick break. And we're fortunate that Lev and Chazzy are going to be joining us for the next segment. But stick around. The final thrilling show-stopping moments of Out Chicago is coming up right after this. So stick around. You're listening to Out Chicago right here on WCPT Heartland Signal.
I'm Amanda Civitello with Creating Iris. Welcome back to Out Chicago on WCPT.
Welcome back to Out Chicago. Scott Duff here, along with Ellen Miller, and we've got the incredible gross handlers out here. Chazzy and Lav are here with us. Hey, we want to remind you that next Sunday is the 55th annual Chicago Pride Parade, and Ellen and I are going to be broadcasting live from the Center on Halsted, looking down. We're going to be looking down. Looking out. We're looking out and up. Is what we'll do at the parade. So if you can't make it down to the parade, it starts at 11 a.m. You can always tune in to Out Chicago right here on WCPT AM 820 for all your Pride Parade needs. I'm just now realizing you are the second person in today that has been invited to the White House.
Wow, what an honor.
I know. I'm like,
we have only the highest of class.
I know,
here
right?
Chicago.
Clearly. So this year, I'm so glad that you all are here. The theme of the Pride Parade this year is free to be proud. What does that mean to you as young people?
I think for me, definitely, like, free to be proud is really just representing myself as a proud young transgender woman. We all know the world is not the most affirming place for a lot of LGBTQ plus young people, for especially transgender people. And for me, I recognize how much privilege I have and how much gratitude I have to be from the amazing state of Illinois, to have a supportive family, to live every single day as myself. And I know not everybody has that support, and I want to fix that. And so for me, free to be proud is just to be in a big community. I'm in college now, which is crazy to think about as I've grown up on this show. Like, it's insane. I'm like, oh my gosh. And so for me, it really means embracing myself back in the community of Chicago. So we're going to the Pride Parade, which will be super exciting. We're going to be in it, marching with Equality Illinois.
Fantastic.
Have y'all heard of Equality Illinois?
Maybe.
I
think something like that.
A little bit. We love
Very
it.
familiar with it.
Yes. So we've spent the past 5 years marching with them in the parade. So for me, it really means coming back in community, coming back after school in the summer to be in Chicago, to be with all these incredible people and elected officials, just to remind myself love is everywhere, and I'm embracing it every day.
Stop. I'm just done. Lev, what does it mean to you? I'm sorry. Just keep going. You all are inspiring. I mean, this is what we need right now. We need this energy of hey, we can do this. You can find the support. You can find love. You can find the people, your community, and the importance of community. That's I don't make New Year's resolutions. I make a little intention or focus on a word. This year it's community. It really is about raising people up and realizing what you are a part of. And I'm so glad that you're here. What does free to be proud mean to you, Lev?
Absolutely.
As an ally?
Absolutely. And you just said it there. I am extremely proud to be an ally. And what I'm even more proud of is my sister. I'm proud of my friends who are part of the LGBT plus community, my family. And I'm just proud of the people that they are and that they are fighting every day to be their true authentic selves and to live their lives and to be proud in their identity. And I'm proud that as an ally, I also have power. We were talking off air for a second, but, my mom likes to describe me as this sort of like American Pie Chevrolet person, right? Like I'm white, cisgender, straight, was in a fraternity. And, a lot of those folks have never met anyone who's part of the community, and they may have misconceptions about who those people are. But when I'm able to show that, hey, I'm an ally, like I am very supportive of the community, like I feel like that comes with privilege, and I hope that that sort of allows folks who look like me to become allies if they're not already.
Did you find that you were able to change minds and hearts of some of your friends that were on the conservative side from your sharing your experience with Chazzy?
Absolutely. And it just comes back to that idea that you don't, knowledge dispels fear, and you don't know who someone is until you've met them, right? Like you need to actually be vulnerable, put yourself in situations that you've maybe never met someone, be open-minded, and then you'll find that like you can actually change your mind about things, and you can actually become more supportive and not be maybe as like scared of what you don't know, because now you actually know more, you're learning.
Yeah. And life is learning. It's an ongoing process, no matter how old you are. So allies are important. What have you learned about Lev that you didn't know before, that you learned in this journey, would you say?
It's a good question. I'm going to have to think about that. Honestly, the fact that he just goes out of his way to represent who he is as a cisgender, straight, white male, but that just supports his sister and supports the community no matter what. I mean, it's like truly remarkable. And I mean, me personally, like I have guy friends that are super supportive of me, but like to see siblings or to see people just like every day, right? Lev went to a very conservative school in Ohio, yet he didn't lose that support that he has for me, which is so like nice, and that he was able to change hearts and minds with his words, with his allyship. I mean, it's truly remarkable. So
I see it in motion here, in action. Yeah.
So, Lev, I love the fact that you are a proud ally, but for folks who are out there listening, what does allyship really look like on the day-to-day basis? Like what does being an ally mean to you? And like, how do you live that value?
What an ally means to me on a day-to-day basis is to recognize your privilege and using your voice to support a community. You could be an ally of the LGBTQ+ community. You could be an ally of any community that you're not a part of. Sure. And it's about uplifting the voices of those in your community, that community, and using your power to share stories of positivity and to connect with other folks and to increase allyship, to get more folks on board of being allies of a certain community.
It's like a gift that you have. Yeah. You're a gift to each other.
I mean, Chazzy is the best part of my life. Like every day, since she was on this earth, like we always talked about, like she was like my mini me. My parents, I have 3 siblings, but my parents, we're the blondies. Is what and it's just that like she inspires me every single day to be the best version of myself. Like the type of woman that she is and that she's becoming is so inspiring, and I'm just so grateful to have her in my life.
Likewise.
Oh gosh, see, this is gonna be the crying show. I'm gonna be doing all the crying again. I don't like it. All right, let's move to really positive. So so we've got Pride coming up. It is a time for joy. It is a time for rage. I think we have to remember that. It's a time for let's doubling down and like doing the work and everything. But also, again, there's a time for like super duper amount of joy and stuff. What are you listening to? What are you watching? Like, what are things that are like right now is kind of like on your must list? Like, okay, if we're gonna do, because I'm old, I need young people
You're
too.
not old.
Okay,
You're not old.
You're very cute.
I'm the old
Ellen's
one.
old.
You're not old.
No, but like, what are you listening to? Like, what would you say? Like, this Pride season, you need to give this a watch or give this a listen to.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So I love like I say, like live, breathe, sleep, like watching queer media, listening to like queer singers and stuff like that. I just saw 3 days ago. Have y'all heard of the singer Haley Kiyoko by chance?
Yeah.
So she's like a activist in the community. She's a proud lesbian. She's a proud Asian American lesbian. And so she has this song called Girls Like Girls that has become a book that just became a movie. Yes, exactly. I just watched it with my good friend Wesley 3 days ago. And I loved it so much. Super cute. It just super, super heartfelt. And it was with Asian American influence, which is amazing because that's like a demographic we don't hear a lot about in terms of being like queer. So the both intersections, I love that. I love Renee Rapp, the singer. She's like a proud lesbian. I just love just being able to like listen to upbeat queer music. I also love Elton John. I mean, hello. Love him. Love him so much. When I saw him,
How
incredible.
about Chapel?
Good question. I do listen to Chapel. Hopefully this is not going to cause
it's going to be
me a lot.
controversy here.
Let's hear it. I want to hear about it.
Okay, I'm going to be so honest. Like, I love her, and I think she's really cool. I don't listen to her a lot, and I also don't look up to her a lot. And the reason I say that, if I'm being honest, is
be honest.
her platform is very like involved in like the community. She is a lesbian, but I know I've heard of stories of people who have like met her who like want to get a photo, and she's like, no, I don't want a photo or anything like that. I mean, it's true. She's one of those, and she has such a high platform that she has been like negative and saying that like, if you're wanting to get a photo with me, well, you can't. That kind of stuff.
That kind of vibe. Instead of being like remembering.
Right,
like,
exactly. And I'm like, you have a platform, like love her, but and be grateful you have that platform.
Yes.
So I don't listen to her a lot. I appreciate her, but also like Dylan Mulvaney. I love Dylan Mulvaney. Famous trans, like she was on Broadway for some time recently, like influencer. I hope to meet her someday. She's truly inspiring. But all those people, I'm manifesting.
I mean, look, if you've met the Bidens, I'm sure Dylan Mulvaney is like within your grasp.
Here's hoping. And we do have a lot of mutual connections. So.
All right, Dylan, since you're listening.
Please, Dylan, please.
Give a call. All right, there you go. How about you, Love? What are you doing, reading, listening to, watching, whatever, celebrating Pride?
Absolutely. I'm sure y'all saw, but a couple months ago, this show took over like the world heated rivalry. Have y'all heard of that?
Oh, sure.
And so what's so interesting about that, and we were just talking about it before, but you know, it's sports, right? It's like sports hockey players. These are like tough guys, right? But then at the same time, it's showcasing this very real and raw relationship within the LGBTQ+ community. And what's so cool for me is that like me and my friends who are, you know, we like to say this term like recovering frat bros, right? Like the term we say. Like we sit around and we watch it and we love it and we're getting so into it, and we don't even sometimes consciously know that we're actually supporting the community by consuming this media that's giving an accurate representation of someone who is not part of our community, but that we can be allies towards. And so like that's sort of like a way that I'm starting to start the conversations with my friends about the community, having them, you know, because now they're asking me questions more about the community and stuff, because they know about Gender Cool and my sister and stuff. So that's definitely like a show that we definitely have nerded out on.
All right. You know, I take umbrage with that. I have issues with heated rivalry. No, but it's okay. I mean, because I'm in the minority. I can't finish it for some reason, because the first 3 episodes for me are really painful to watch because they are so closeted, and it makes me feel icky. So like I mean, because you're correct, like it's very real and very like, but the closety factor of it, I'm like, nope, I don't need it. I don't need to watch that. It brings up a lot of like things from the past. And I'm like, I don't need that. But I'm happy that people are watching it and people are really enjoying it, you know, because of apparently they come through that closet. I don't know. I haven't finished watching. I only watched the first 3.
I haven't seen it either.
You gotta finish it. You gotta finish it.
I know. Everybody says I gotta finish it, and the last 2 are just gonna like rip your heart out. I know, and I probably will.
I didn't get past I saw the first 3 as well. I don't know what my reason was, but I love that the show has been seen by the cis male. So many straight guys have watched the show and enjoyed it too, which says volumes about where we've come in society today, because in the old days, as you know, I'm not going to watch that. I'm going to watch that stuff, but I love that you are a bright light of what the future is and gives us a lot of hope, which is what we all need right now in this world.
And one thing that I've been listening to, okay, so Ray?
I think so, maybe.
She has that song like Where's My Husband?
Oh yes,
okay.
I've seen. Okay,
the baby. Yeah. Where the hell is my husband? What's taking him so long to find me? Okay,
that's
we can do that. Thank you very much.
Bow down.
So her whole album is fantastic. It really is. It's more like an art piece, like a conceptual album. But there is a song on there called Joy. That is really about I don't need you in my life because you are not bringing me joy. And then at night I may cry, but in the morning the sun comes out and there is so much joy. And that is one of those songs that I'm kind of carrying through because this time is it's a really weird time for everybody, and as we're heading into, the last week of Pride Month, as we're getting ready to celebrate and to remember ostensibly the beginning of the LGBTQ equality movement, that I think it's important that we have to remember that there will be dark times, but they won't last forever. And that the sun doesn't, now I'm turning into Annie. The sun will come out tomorrow.
Well, I love Annie.
Girl, don't even get me started. I saw that show when I was 6 years old. It was my first play. And I kept telling my mom, I'm like, I want to do that. Look at them up there. I will wear a dress so I could be Annie. I think it'll be fine.
I love that.
Yeah, I know. I was already crossing gender lines back then.
I love that.
It was great.
I find that so inspiring because it's so important to see things that we've seen that we look back on. I'll be quick, but one of my favorite movies to watch during Pride Month is To Wong Fu, Thanks for Everything.
Alrighty.
Love that movie. Love that movie. I don't know a lot of people my age that know that movie, but I love that movie. Yeah. So to see the way that they've progressed, how even that movie was before that I was born, to see now that wow, they were able to do that so we can all live and thrive.
That's right. It's a good way to look at it.
All right.
So
well, I think that's a great way to send us all off until to a new week with some joy, with some pride and everything. And so thank you so much for coming in today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Great to meet you.
Yeah, I know. We get the family has grown. Our Out Chicago's family has grown. And that's going to do it for us today. I want to thank all of our guests, Judge Jill Rose Quinn, Judge Cecilia Horan, Yvette Cardona, Mona Noriega, Steve Needham, and of course, the amazing gross handlers, Jazzy and Lev. Paul, thank you for doing everything today.
You, Paul.
You did everything today.
Thank you, Paul.
Ellen Miller, I will see you
at the parade. My favorite day of the year, next Sunday, 11 o'clock here.
And I'm Scott Duff, and until next week, stay proud.